Everybody having a good time tonight? Yeah. Oh, come on. We can do better than that. We having a good time tonight? Yeah. There we go. Before we begin, I want to thank everybody who went. If you went out for a deployment and you're here because of that, raise your hand. Everybody, a round of applause for them, please. They helped get our endorsed candidates out on the ballot. So thank you guys very much. Before I begin, my name is Stefano Forte, president of the New York Young Republican Club. And I've got some announcements. April 2nd, the NYYRC Veterans Caucus Cigar Night at Midtown, April 21st. I have dyslexia, I'm so sorry. April 21st at 7 p.m. Speaking of which, where is Mike Munoz?
Behind you.
Come on over here. Oh! Come on over here. Our Veterans Caucus Chairman, Mike Munoz, is running for Assembly in District 67. 67. He's got something in his hands over here. This is a petition. We are trying to get Mike Munoz on the ballot for this November's election. So please sign the petition so we can bring it to the Board of Elections and get our man Mike Munoz over there, all right?
Yeah, Mike.
Just want to say one quick word about Mike, all right? He served our country.
Yeah.
He is a veteran. Can I tell the story?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the coolest story ever. He liberated Saddam's palace.
Whoa.
Swam in Saddam's swimming pool. Now we need to bring him to the state assembly. He served our country. We've got your back, Mike. We got your back. We like Mike. Mike. We like Mike.
We like Mike. We like Mike.
And if anybody, Ian, you're fired.
You blew out your mic.
If
That is another.
There's another one.
we have spare mics. This one. Hello. Oh, wow, look at that. The mic doesn't like Mike. We've got pins. We like Mike pins right over there by our fireplace. Go and grab one so you can show your support for Mike Munoz. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Mike.
People that can move forward.
If you guys want to move forward a little bit, please come on over.
They're afraid of you.
I know, very scary. Who's read a little book called Camp of the Saints?
Yeah.
We are having a book reading event here at the clubhouse April 22nd, okay? We are going to have a Camp of the Saints book reading with the publisher, so please come on over. This is a must-read book for conservatives, okay? So please come. Camp of the Saints event, April 22nd. Who's ready to sail away, huh? We have our second annual Sail Away Soiree on June 13th.
Bad omen.
Not a bad omen. There's no such thing as bad omens. Sail Away Soiree, second annual, June 13th. Get your tickets while they last. I have one more thing here. We also have our spring donation drive is underway. Our great philanthropy chairwoman, Bella Nicolaitis. Talk to her, raise your hand. Stand up and raise your hand so everybody can see you. There's Bella. If you have anything that you would like to give, please go and talk to her or contact philanthropy@nyyrc.com or bring your items to the next club event. They're going to be in the emails going forward, okay? So, we have with us today somebody who's a bit of a legend in the conservative movement.
Yeah.
Many people got red-pilled by this man. I know my godchild Alexis did. When I was in college and I was trying to red pill people, okay, his videos were the ones that I would send from PragerU. Will Witt.
Yeah.
Will, we just had dinner with him. Great guy, down to earth. We love him. He told me something that shocked me. He said, I don't use shampoo. Being a very greasy Greek man, that surprised me. Because he doesn't smell. He actually smells quite good.
Any of you can come.
Anybody could come, run your fingers through his hair and smell him. He smells fantastic. But he has got this MAHA thing going. We really like it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to jump in on the no shampoo thing. I think I might smell if I don't. But he's here to talk to us about that, as well as his 2 books, Do Not Comply with Will Witt, and How to Win Friends and Influence Enemies. Our good friend, Will Witt, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Truly, it's an honor to be here. I won't speak for too long. I know everyone just wants to drink whiskey and talk. And they're like, oh, can you come talk about MAHA? I'm like, at the event where we're all drinking. That's exactly the place that we should talk about it. But, you know, it's funny to be in New York, because I was going around New York, and obviously there's a lot of signs and things that are against the things that I think most of us in here believe. So obviously we're in hostile territory, but to see so many strong, young Republicans out here actually fighting for the things we believe in, I mean, please, I want to give you guys a round of applause. Please, thank you for doing everything you do. I'm so proud of that. You know, because a lot of the time I go to campuses, I mean, that's my job. I go to campuses, I debate people, I talk to people, I do speeches, and most of the time the people who I go and talk to absolutely hate me. I did an event for my first book at University of Maryland, which is, you know, right outside of D.C. And if you guys know anything about D.C., it's just L.A. for ugly people. And so, you guys are all beautiful people, by the way. And so I go and do this event, and of course, you know, I have about 300 people who come to hear me speak, and there's about 50 protesters outside, and they're saying just the most awful things. Will Witt is a racist, Will Witt is a Nazi, they're writing it on notebook paper, you know, really professional artists over there. And so I go out there to them, and I say, hey, I'm sure that conservatives have said some lies about you guys, I'm sure the left has said some lies about me, maybe you guys can have a conversation with me and we can find some sort of common ground, right? We can talk about it. And what did they do? They screamed at me. They yelled even more vitriolic and horrible, abhorrent things at me. I said, I cleared out the last row for them. There was an entire row that I cleared out and said, you guys can be first in line to come to the event and ask me a question. Tell me why I'm a Nazi. Tell me why I'm a racist. Not one of them actually showed up to the event. I did another event at the University of New Mexico where we did an affirmative action bake sale. You guys ever heard of this? They don't allow us to do affirmative action bake sales after this. So essentially, if you guys don't know what it is, you are selling baked goods to people for different prices based on their race. So if you're Asian, the muffin's $1.50. If you're white, it's $1. If you're black or Hispanic, it's 50 cents. And if you're Indian, we just give it to you, right? And it sounds racist, right? I mean, that's the point, because this is showing affirmative action in action. It's saying black people, Mexican people, Indian people, you're not as smart or as good as white or Asian people, so we need to give you this artificial leg up. It is racism, DEI, affirmative action, racism, right? And so at first we're having some really great conversations, talking with people, it's going really well, until, you know, some crazy leftist on campus finds out about what we're doing, and about 300 to 400 people show up at the event, students coming to protest, again, yelling, screaming, not willing to have any sort of conversation, just trying to shut us down. The local news come, I mean, the president of the school comes out to see what's going on, and eventually some guy comes and he flips my table. All the muffins that I spent all day baking. And then he stomps on my muffins. Squished my muffins. And the guy wasn't even Indian. It is unbelievable, right? And I'll tell you one more event that I did, because I find these very telling, actually, of what we're dealing with, because you guys are young, and these are all young people who you guys are encountering on a daily basis. I did one more event at University of Northern Colorado. If you guys don't know, I'm from Colorado. It's my state. And so I go and do this event thinking I'll get a warm familial welcome when I come in to do this. And this is during COVID, 2021, 2022. And they say, Will, when you do your speech, you have to wear a mask. I say, the hell, I'm wearing a mask while I speak. Are you insane? And so I go up on the stage, again, about 300 people or so, and I take my bandana off, because the bandanas are at least cool looking, right? So I would do that. And I say, I'm not catering to your delusions. I'm not wearing a mask while I speak. And so the school cuts the mic, and about 50 Black Lives Matter protesters come. I mean, these thugs, these animals, they start again, flipping tables, yelling, screaming. They're pulling their mask off to tell me to put my mask on. You know, follow the science. And eventually the cops come, and I'm like, thank God the cops are here to put a stop to this. And what do the cops do? They come up to me and they say, Will, you have to leave because you're making people unsafe by not wearing a mask. This is the level of delusion that we are dealing with these people on the left, these people who have such horrible ideas that disagree with us, right? And so what do? Do I put my tail between my legs and say, well, I guess I'm a loser and I'm not going to give this speech? No, I take about the remaining 150 people who didn't get threatened out of there and take them off campus onto the streets in snowy, cold winter of Colorado and give the speech to them outside, because I'm not going to be silenced by anything or anyone. That is the type of mentality that we have to have. I mean, you guys are in New York. I lived in LA. You know, now I live in Florida, which is, I mean, it's an amazing place. All right, look at my tan. I mean, you guys are very pale, but you're great people, but you're very pale in here. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. And I love Florida. I love Florida, but I will tell you that living in LA or living in New York, your ideas are tested. Your ideas are hardened. You become a stronger person having to deal with this every single day. Right? And why do these people, I'm telling you these stories about these people that I meet, why do they act this way? It's because they love chaos. Chaos is the way that these people act. Genesis 1:1, God created the heavens and the earth. And in this moment, God didn't just create the rocks and the trees and the ground that you stand on. He created order. Where there was nothingness, where there was disarray, God created order. This is why these people on the left hate God, why they love chaos, because they hate order. Think about the things that the left believes in, the ideas that they have, right? Thinking that America is an inherently racist country is chaos, right? More people, more black people from Africa have actually immigrated legally to America since slavery than any slaves that were ever brought over. And why did they do that? Because America is the land of opportunity, the greatest country in the world where anyone from any race, any background can make something incredible of their lives, right? Mm-hmm. That is why they came here, America being an anti-race or a racist country. And Benjamin Franklin started the first anti-slavery society in America. Most people don't know that. The Founding Fathers, the original Constitution had life, liberty, and property. But the Founding Fathers changed it to pursuit of happiness because they knew that people had slaves and they didn't think that slaves were a God-given inalienable right that you had. America wasn't founded on racism. It's not a racist country, but this is what they push. Thinking that men can have a period is chaos, right? That is what these people do. And every single thing that the left touches, they destroy. Think about the art, the movies, the architecture, the culture. I mean, myself, I'm an Eagle Scout. I don't know if we have any other Boy Scouts in here. There we go, we got one. Two, okay. It didn't serve us very well in high school for getting a girlfriend, but it's serving us well now, right? And growing up, I grew up without my dad in the picture. My father was in prison for basically all of my life, an evil man. And so I didn't really have a male role model or anything like that, and so I was in the Boy Scouts. And the Boy Scouts was everything I needed. Taught me leadership, taught me how to work as a team, how to be a member of a group, and all these different things, skills that I needed. And it's like, what is the Boy Scouts now? Was the mic not working that entire time? Oh my goodness. This is leftists are tampering with the mic. And the Boy Scouts taught me all these things and completely changed my life. I wouldn't be the man that I am today doing all of the things that I do now if it wasn't for the Boy Scouts and everything is. And now it is just the Scouts. They let girls into the Scouts. They have a new badge that's required for Eagle Scout that I think is called Citizenship in the Universe, which is basically just Social Justice Warrior, the merit badge. And it's like, if the left wanted to, they could go and create. They could go and create their own little tranny commie scouts, right? They could do that. They have all the money, all the culture, all the power to be able to do that, but they don't know how. They don't know how to go and create anything. They only know how to destroy. They only know how to take something that is already good, true, and beautiful and pervert it. I mean, my favorite books, my favorite movies, Lord of the Rings. You guys seen it? Yeah, a couple. I mean, it is the greatest. Like, I'll show you guys this. This necklace, right? It's very nerdy. I'm a massive nerd, okay? This necklace I made, it's glow in the dark. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's insignia, but it glows in the dark like Sting's sword, like in the movies, right? I absolutely love it. You guys seen the Rings of Power show? Oh my goodness, it is absolutely awful. If they wanted to create their own fantasy series, they own Amazon. I mean, they have Google, all this stuff. They could create their own things, but they don't know how. They only know how to take something that is good and destroy it. And it's almost impossible to have conversations with these people and talk to them about it. When I first moved to LA, right, I went on a date with this girl. I met her on Tinder. And she actually picked me up for the date. It was very progressive of me at the time. And we went to the Griffith Observatory, if you guys know, like big star thing, and got some pizza, whatever. And then she's driving me back to my apartment that I lived at the time, and I'm about to get out, but she's like, you know, Will, this whole time that we were together, I didn't get to ask, like, what you do for work. Like, what do you do? This is when I just moved to LA to work for PragerU. I'm like, oh, I work in politics. She's like, you work in politics? Like, what kind of politics? I'm like, conservative politics. She's like, well, who'd you vote for? Donald Trump, of course. And this girl, she turns away from me. And I don't know what's going on. I'm like, really, I'm wanting to leave and go home. And she turns back, and there's tears coming down her face. She's crying. I say, what is going on? Why are you crying? What happened? She says, I can't believe I just went on a date with a Trump supporter. I said, yeah, the best date of your life. I tell you, that, and now we're happily married. You know, he's an amazing woman. That's obviously a joke too, okay? Don't worry. But I tell you this story to like show you the level that we are dealing with these people. I tell you all the stories of the people I meet on campus who won't talk to you, who are just yelling at you, evil, horrible people, who won't have conversations, the people who cry when you tell them who you voted for. I mean, can any of you guys imagine? You're meeting someone on a date, you meet them on Hinge, whatever, and they tell you they voted for Kamala or Biden or whatever, and you start crying? I mean, can you imagine that? But why do these people act this way? Why do they act this way? It's because leftism is a religion. Leftism has become a religion in this country. As Nietzsche said, God is dead and we have killed him. And a lot of people look at this as this great triumphant call that, oh yes, God is dead and that's great. But that's not really what Nietzsche meant by it. When he said this, he was basically saying that there is going to be a vacuum of purposelessness and that people are going to need something to fill that void. And that is where leftism came in. That is where communism came in the 20th century and killed 100 million people. You know, and speaking about communism and all of these kind of things, you know, we think about this ideology, killed 100 million people. I mean, it's something that's almost unquantifiable when you think about it. That's not even thinking about the families and friends that were separated, the economies destroyed, the women that were raped. I mean, truly, it was the most evil, insidious ideology in human history. And what do you have today in America? You have Build Back Better, Green New Deal, these massive spending bills, and these people in Congress who say that maybe, oh, I'm a Democrat socialist. We know what you really are. We know what you really believe. And yet, what do Republicans do? What do conservatives do all of the time? They bend over backwards for these people. They continually capitulate over and over again for the people who are committing evil and believe in the most insidious evil ideology in human history. Why are we finding common ground with evil? We should be looking to defeat evil at every single turn instead of finding common ground with it. I mean, if the devil were to walk in here right now and stand next to any one of you guys, would you take his coat and hang it up for him? Would you offer him a drink? Of course not. You would know that that is evil, but for some reason when we see these leftists, we're so worried about what people are going to think about us, we say, okay, we'll find some common ground. But you know what? The left, the Democrats, they don't find common ground. They continually ask us to find the common ground, and we do because we are too weak to stand up against them. But that time is over. The tides are changing, and conservatives are here to win now. And I'm so happy for that. Things really are turning around. You know, like I hear these things about like the gender debate, about children having their penises cut off and their breasts removed and all these kind of things. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to sit here and debate you about, oh, it's okay at 18 or 15 or 12. I'm going to tell you that any doctor who performs this should be sent to jail and their practice closed down for the evil that they are committing on children. That is what should be done with these people. That's the kind of mindset I have. I know not every Republican or conservative agrees with my kind of more hardline stances on things, but we see the culture that we have in America today and why we continue to lose, and this is what it is. I'm supposed to be talking about MAHA, right? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. It's just what's going on. I'll talk a little bit about the MAHA. Have you guys ever heard a movie called Mama Has a Mustache?
No.
No? Thank goodness. That's good. You're good. You guys are good people. It's essentially this movie of like 5 to 10-year-olds, and they're being asked by the producers or director or whatever, do you think that if you like blue, you can really be a girl, and if you want to change to be a boy, you can? All the kids are like, yeah, it's great. You can do whatever you want. You know, the kids are all very cute and everything. But it's obviously propaganda when you look at it. And the person who made this movie, excuse me, a little whiskey coming back. The person who made this movie, of course, is a queer from UC Berkeley. They always are. And they want to get this movie into every school. Now, who do you think produced this movie? Who paid for this movie? Bayer Pharmaceuticals. Bayer Pharmaceuticals are the ones who produced this movie. Now, Bayer makes a drug called Lupron. They give this drug to little boys that'll turn them into little girls. It's a puberty blocker. They also use it to castrate sex offenders. But now you have the biggest drug company in the world funding pro-trans movies so that they can sell more of their drugs to little kids. These are some of the most evil people on the planet. A company like Pfizer makes $1,000 every single second of every single day. In 2020, they made $19 billion. In 2021, they made $121 billion. That is just absolutely mind-boggling amounts of money that you can't even comprehend. And then what happens if you take one of these vaccines and you get damaged by it? Who pays for the damages? Does anyone know?
Taxpayer.
The taxpayer. You pay for the damages. You take, and that's not even just a COVID vaccine, that's any vaccine. You take any vaccine and you get damaged by it, something happens to you, it's not the big pharma companies that are held liable, it is you. The Vaccine Injury Compensation Fund put in the Reagan administration made sure that that is the case. These are evil, horrible people. If you go to Chipotle right now and you get a burrito and it makes you sick, which they usually do, but let's say you get really sick. You get really sick, you can sue Chipotle for what they've done, right? They are liable for their product, but not with a vaccine. Any vaccine, you can't sue the company for the damages. Even though, when you look at the measles vaccine, 300 times more people have died from the measles vaccine, and that's just from the VAERS data, which is very underreported. 300 times more people have died from the measles vaccine than actually died from measles in this country. And yet you can't hold these people liable? Again, evil people. Evil, horrible people. And you can't expect the Republican Party to save you. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. In 2016, we had the House, the presidency, and the Senate, and don't even think about getting abortion outlawed. We couldn't even get Planned Parenthood defunded. So these kind of things, when it comes to MAHA, or it comes to being conservative, or it comes to being a Christian, or whatever it is that you guys are, or what you believe in, the pursuit of truth, it is individual choices that make the country. Individual choices of people going and saying enough is enough. Why did things change in LA when I was there for COVID? Not because the government decided to make us free. It's because individuals fought against the bullshit that they were putting onto us every single day by not allowing us to do any of the things that we wanted to do. We fought and we won, and now it's not the same way. But that's what it has to be like. You can't expect these people to save us. We're always looking at the world and saying, when is the presidency going to change? When's the Senate going to change? When's my church going to change? My family going to change? My wife's going to change? Whatever it is. She better change. When are these things going to change? But we're never looking in the mirror and saying, when am I going to change? When am I actually going to be that person who's going to make those changes, not relying on somebody else, but going to do it myself because I know that these things are true, and I know that they are right. It's very easy to blame someone else for the problems of the world, but then we're acting like leftists. We're acting like the Democrats. We have a victim mentality. We have to be those people. I mean, myself, I grew up in circumstances that were probably not the best, but I decided to make something in my life and choose to do the things that I do, and I'm very happy every single day. I don't suffer from anxiety or depression or any of these things that everyone suffers from. I feel incredible, and I think that is a merit of the choices that I've been able to make, and everyone has the ability to make these choices. You live in America. It's a blessing every day to wake up and be an American. It's so incredible. And so I'll leave you guys with this, and we can get into some Q&A. You guys can ask me whatever you want. But I know that sometimes, like, even for me, who lives in Florida, and I look around at the world and what's going on, this war or anything else, Epstein files, and it can feel somewhat hopeless. You can get a little cynical. I know I definitely feel that way sometimes. But, I think about these brave men in Normandy who went to fight on D-Day. These young men who are about your guys' age, right? Maybe even younger. And they're on these metal boats and they're going to fight the Germans and never been to this country. And the door opens and their best friend, who they've known their whole life, immediately shot in the head. Absolute carnage, destroyed. I mean, these young men are literally peeing their pants as they're getting off these boats to go and fight. Do you think that those young men getting off had much hope? No, I don't think so. I don't think they had much hope at all. But they got off those boats anyway, and they fought that day, and they took that beach. If those young men can die for my right to live, then I can live fighting for everything that they died for, right? Yeah. That is what it is about. Thank you. It is about that integrity, that even if things look absolutely hopeless, things look terrible, and I know you guys live in New York, you see the things going on, it can look hopeless. I get that all the time. But it doesn't matter. You fight for the truth. You have integrity. In Exodus, when the female Israelites are standing by the Nile, and the Pharaoh comes up to them and says, if there are any males born among you, throw them into the river. And what did the female Israelites say? They said, we fear God. They feared God more than they feared what the Pharaoh was going to do to them. And if we all have that same mindset of fearing God, above fearing what any of these other people are going to do to us, to say to us, judge us, I promise you we'll save this country in a day. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'd love to do some Q&A. I don't know how we're doing it or what you guys want to do, but.
Okay.
I'm not that on my phone.
You want to use this?
Whichever one works. I don't know if we have two that work.
Use this.
Perfect.
All right, raise your hands. Who wants to ask a question?
First hand, right?
Do I have a mic still, or is
Look, two-part. I guess I want to know your opinion and then the general MAHA opinion on nicotine products.
Okay. No, that's great. Are you handing the mic back?
I want yours and then the general.
Okay.
Do we like bumpin' zins, basically?
Do we like? We don't like bumpin' zins. We love bumpin' zins. Listen, I understand that I am an absolute hypocrite when it comes to this. I've been addicted to nicotine since I was about 15 years old. I was a lifeguard, and I would sit on the stand and talk to girls and dip all day long. And no one, maybe people drowned. I don't know. I was a little busy. I don't know. But so I've been addicted for a long time, unfortunately. But there are health benefits to nicotine, actually. So there is no doubt about that. I mean, it's a nootropic. It can't help, but I'm not going to sit here and say that all the zinning and all the cigarette smoking and all these things are some great blessing to the world. But what I will say is that you look at history and you look at the men in history who did incredible, amazing things. There's almost always a picture of them with a cigar in their mouth. I mean, it's just the way that it is. So I'm somewhat milquetoast on the idea. I think that using it in certain circumstances actually does have a positive cognitive effect. But if you are overusing it, it can actually lead to a lot of degenerative health problems. Yeah. Thank you.
And then, was that your?
Oh yeah, is that the general consensus in the MAHA community?
I would say I don't think the MAHA community zins as much as I do, but I would say yes, they do view nicotine as a solid good now. Yeah, but not entirely. I do think that if you are using it too much, and most people would agree that there are these effects that will negatively impact your life. Yeah, which is true. I mean, that's just obvious. Anything that you're addicted to and you let it control you, it will have negative impacts on you, for sure. Yeah, thank you.
Another question?
Oh.
A lot of hands.
So I know you said you've been going to different colleges and talking to all these students. Have they all received you kind of poorly and with this kind of aggression that you described? All of them?
Right. Maybe they can ask the questions without them. I don't know. So we don't have to.
No, we're running it.
Lewis and Clark over here. No. Of course, there are plenty of colleges that have done a very fair job of making it so that I can come there and feel safe and be able to talk to students and do all the things in the right way. But there are many colleges, not just the students or people showing up at the community, but even the administrations who've been awful. I mean, Belmont College in Nashville canceled my event because I'm apparently too controversial, right? And this happens all the time. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but I will say that a lot of the time you will get liberals who are more conducive to having a worthwhile, wonderful conversation, will actually talk. But if you are on the far left, I mean, part of the far left, the Marxist ideology, I mean, read Saul Alinsky, I mean, the 12 Rules, I mean, you will find very quickly that part of their ideology is shutting down any opposition. Look at read the Gulag Archipelago and see how they treated people who had any sort of opposition. It is textbook. It is how they are supposed to act, by treating people as others and making sure they don't have a voice. Because if people have a voice and actually stand up, then their movement's over, because it doesn't make any sense. So that is a core tenet of the leftist belief. But you do have liberals and some people who are totally fine, and just disagreements, of course.
And have you had to fear for your safety, you think, a little bit in that predicament that you put yourself in? I mean, obviously we have Charlie Kirk up there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if, do you go up there and you just kind of have that in the back of your head? Like, do you have fear?
It's always in the back of your head, but to be honest, I don't let that affect me at all, really. You know, like when I do these prove me wrongs on campus, maybe you guys have seen some of my recent videos debating students on campus for Turning Point, and we get, 50 kids coming up to the mic and asking these questions, and you don't know what's going on, who knows? And then there's like the police there, and there's like Turning Point security, and I tell the people at Turning Point, I'm like, if you want to put me out there with no security, I'll do it. Like, I just want to talk to the people. I just want to talk and have conversations and ask questions and have them ask questions. Like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You can take precautions, of course, but, I believe in what I'm doing. And so part of what I'm doing, like this is one thing I'll say. People will come up to me all the time. One of the most common questions I get, they're like, I'm a conservative, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a Republican, whatever it is, and I feel that people hate me for what I believe in. How do I have unity? How do I talk to people who disagree with me and make friends and not lose my friends or family for what I believe in? I'm like, that is a wrong way to look at it. If you are telling the truth, if you believe in these things, then of course people who are liars are going to hate you. If you're a truth teller, then people who hate the truth are going to hate you. And that is part of what you have to be able to stomach and discern with being this type of person. Does that make sense? Yeah. Thank you. Let's just ask. Or we can just ask without the mic.
So you were one of the, for me at least, sort of the OG content creators on the right that sort of started this, viral trend of especially doing the man on the street stuff. What do you see now as the most effective or the correct formula for creating content? Is it, some people say, well, you just have to go to the extremes. Is it that, or is it just straight up being a truth teller? What is the correct formula that you see?
Yeah, it's definitely not the extremes, because I feel that there is a great moral need for compassion. And I'm really, I do this, I debate people almost every day, and I'm really not an aggressive person. I'm not a confrontational person. I like being kind to people. Not in like a weenie kind of way or anything like that. I like talking to people and having good conversations with people. I don't want to yell at someone. I don't want them yelling at me. That's not fun. So when you see these people going out on the street or doing one of these things and they're just totally demonstrative towards some of these people, I'm like, what are you doing? You will get a small subset of people who absolutely love you, right? You will get this small group of people who are intoxicated by what you're doing because they feel rage inside of them as well. And I get that. But in terms of reaching the actual masses and making something that is lasting, I think being a 100% truth teller, unflinching, but also doing that with compassion and kindness and grace in the way that we're supposed to, I think is the best way to do it. And, if we're talking about different formats or platforms or anything, there's whatever, I don't know if it's so important, but really just in the messaging of what you're doing, I feel bad for these people. I see some leftist who has blue hair and is probably a very pretty girl, if they didn't do these horrible things to themselves, and you see that, and you're like, I feel bad for you. And I don't mean that in a weird, petty kind of way, but you feel bad for them. And so I don't want to come there and just own the libtard. I want to have a conversation with them and see if we can come to some sort of agreement and talk. And I wish more people had that. But so, when I started out in the conservative movement, there was 10 of us. There was a few people making videos and having shows and doing this stuff. And now it's anyone who's a conservative is now also an influencer. Yeah. Everyone's doing it. It's burnout. It's awful.
Well, if I could ask a follow-up, how do you balance that, desire to find the connecting point with, the desire and the understanding that we need to, fight for our principles? How do you try to convince somebody or to have the conversation with somebody who's not going to change or even want to see the worst for you? Yeah, but so the thing is, not everyone's going to want that for you, or not everyone's going to have their mind change. But at the end of the day, again, I'm doing these videos, I'm debating kids on campus. I'm not necessarily every time doing the debate with the person to change the person who's actually debating his mind. There's 50 people around who are watching me debate, and then all millions of people watching online. I'm doing it for that. So people can say and look at that and say, wow, that's what a real debate of talking to someone is supposed to look like. Even if the person right there is I'm going to kill you, I hate you and you're terrible, which happens. But even so, it's I'm not necessarily doing it just for you. I'm doing it for all the people who are going to watch and be inspired by it. So you don't sacrifice your convictions or the way that you talk to people for the person that you're talking to, because it's not about that all the time. That makes sense? Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
You next?
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Max. I believe we already introduced. I'm only 19, probably the youngest person here. My question is back to
the idea in here. Just kidding. You're good. Ask a question.
My question goes back to Make America Healthy Again, MAHA, and the common thing we hear is that there are over 1,000 ingredients that are allowed here that are banned in other countries like Canada or Europe. And I'm wondering, do you know of any ongoing government action to really get and like weed out these ingredients from our food? The list goes on and on, from artificial flavors to the seed oils to the all of the really the preservatives, goes on and on. Could we actually expect in this administration now and with RFK Jr.'s leadership the phasing out of some of these ingredients that are actually detrimental to human health?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's hard to say because you just had like this Glyphosate Immunity Act, which I think is an absolute travesty and totally disagree with, and I don't understand why the president would in any way ever put this forward. I mean, I understand what he's saying, why he would put it forward, but for me it seems absolutely foolish. So I have hope with RFK and things like that happening, but I don't know if it will actually happen, unfortunately. Excuse me. So there have been some changes already that I've seen of them that RFK has done, but I mean, get raw milk legal countrywide, and I'll be a happy man. But I don't think that's going to happen. You know. Yeah. Thank you.
One more question. Who's in the back? Saw the hand first.
Yeah, can I just get your thoughts on the Iran war?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank God. I thought no one was going to ask me. Finally. Okay, so I am totally against the war in Iran. I am 100% against it. I don't know. You guys are all young, so I get claps here, and maybe some of you guys aren't clapping, and you do want to go to war with Iran, that's fine. But, you know, for me, I think the majority, like you talk to any young person, and they're like, yeah, of course I don't want to go to war with Iran. Are you crazy? Of course. But you talk to a lot of older people, and they all, you know, they all want to go to war. Well, it's because they don't have to go to war, right? At least in my opinion. We went to Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, Panama even, and all of these different places. And are any of these places better off now than before we went there? Not one. Not one of them is better off. And horrible regimes have come in and taken over every single one of these places after the wars that America has been a part of, these forever wars with regime change. I think that if we're looking for regime change, the first place we should start is Congress, because these are the people who are absolutely destroying our country. So, I mean, we can get into more specifics, but that's, you know, that's my basic thoughts there. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take one more.
from back.
Oh, one more? Okay, perfect.
Thank you. I heard scripture woven through your speech, which I appreciate very much. And my question is, were you raised in a conservative Christian home, or where did your strong stance begin?
Thank you. So in case you guys can't hear her because she's all the way over there, she asked if I was raised in a conservative Christian home. No, not at all. Not at all. I grew up pretty much, I mean, I would say not political. My grandparents were very conservative, but I never grew up as a Christian. I grew up as a major atheist, and I hated religion and basically told everyone that religion was stupid. And it wasn't until, I obviously became conservative through many means, but I still wasn't a Christian. It wasn't until COVID happened that I ordered the Bible. I said, some people are talking about this, maybe I'll read it, you know. And so I read the Bible, Genesis all the way through Revelation, but mostly I started actually with the four Gospels. And you read the four Gospels, and with any information, just like I'm giving to you guys tonight, or anything that someone says to you, you have to make a choice. You can either ignore it, you can say that it's lies, or you can believe that it's true. And for me, I was so moved by the words in those pages that were in the testimony of Jesus' life that I really had no other choice but to give my life to Christ. And so after I did it and started talking to religious leaders from all over the country, I decided to give my life and got baptized in Hermosa Beach, California. And it was the greatest decision of my life. And it is the faith that drives the politics. And so, yes, I was never that growing up. I never had that privilege to know about these kind of things. It all seemed very mystical and strange to me. I had no idea until I actually read it. And so, a lot of people ask, like, how do we actually talk to people about the Bible, or how do we get America to evangelize or do any of these kind of things? It's like, just have people read the Bible. That is it. Because the majority, like, you'll go and talk to atheists. I talk to atheists all the time. And I also talk to Christians all the time. Christians who haven't read the Bible, as well as atheists who haven't read the Bible. I'm like, listen, if you're an atheist who's read the Bible and you still don't agree with it, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to. There's nothing making you do it. But, like, if you haven't read the Bible and then you're arguing with me on theology or any of this stuff, like, you have to read it to then come to me and say, well, here's what I believe based on what I've read in there. And that's fine. Then we can do that, right? And so Christians, like, you're talking to people or going and having these conversations, have people read the Bible. If they have not read the Bible or don't know the scripture of what you're actually referring to, then it is not even worth it having the conversation. That should be the first thing, because the Bible is the breathed word of God, as it says in Timothy. And if you are not talking to people in that way, then it's going to be very difficult. I would say it's the first step. So thank you for the question.
We have one final question.
Oh, I think this is like the 8th final question. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
This time we really mean it, though. I'll pass the mic to the other
Okay.
It's funny that you mentioned that you used to be an atheist. I come from a very similar background, but I come from a Jewish background.
Okay.
And for you it was COVID. For me it was October 7.
Right.
And I got tired of being like, which works perfectly in English, like Jewish, right, quote unquote. And after October 7, I was like, I can't just be Jewish. I have to rejoin my community fully. And the one thing that I ask around, like, you won't find anybody more hardcore right-wing than I am, right? I'm as right-wing as it gets. However, one thing that really bothers me right now about the current Republican Party, and particularly parts of it, is the anti-Semitism that has gone out of control precisely as a result of things that I know that you oppose, like the war against Iran, but not just that. So I'd like to understand from your perspective as somebody who used to be an atheist and who used to oppose religion, which is, again, a similar background to mine. What is your take on the rise on anti-Semitism within the right wing, not the left? The fact that the left hate us doesn't surprise me at all.
Right.
But within the right. And what do you think that we can do against it, and to speak out against it?
Thank you for the question. I appreciate it a lot. Here's my biggest concern with what's going on right now, is that there is a complete lack of meaning and purpose in this country for young people, right? So you have these people who are about the age of everyone in here, and they feel life is meaningless, America is falling apart, all these kind of things, but what gives them meaning? Being a part of some group, right? And so you have these groups, these things kind of popping up in all sorts of different places about whatever it is, and people are very intoxicated by that, and because of that, they join these things. And I think that the main problem is not actually the anti-Semitism, although of course that's like the surface level problem of what people are seeing online and in the media and all these kind of things, but the main problem is the fact that these people don't have the correct meaning and purpose in their life, because if they did, they'd be focusing on the things that actually matter, right? The things that are going to make their lives better. It's like you could look at the world and you could be any sort of person. You could be someone who says the Democrats are ruling the world and ruining it, black people are ruining the world, Jews are ruining the world, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, no matter what it is, you have the ability with anything to make choices in your own life to get out of despondency and be an incredible, extravagant, wonderful person, right? And so the fact that I see this, because I'm a young guy, who has known a lot of these types of people who are now very in that camp, and I'm like, you do not have that sense of fulfillment. And without that sense of fulfillment, then people are going to turn to extremes. And so I think that we as conservatives looking at these kind of things, or whatever, or Christians, or Jewish, whatever, should look to these people more in a sense of how can we instill purpose and meaning with them. One of the greatest Jewish men from the Holocaust to write in Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And that speaks so much volume when you actually read it and say, okay, this explains everything of what we're actually going through and why people need meaning over any other thing in their life. You know what I mean? And so I think if we fix the meaning crisis and the purposelessness crisis of young people in this country, you would fix that too. It's the root of the issue, and this is merely an offshoot. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Of course.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Before we part, just came back from Washington, D.C., bought this for the club, wanted to unveil it for you guys today. Grab the other end. Don't worry, it's nothing bad.
America too.
America 250, ladies and gentlemen. 250 years of greatness and winning. We're going to get this framed somewhere in this very cluttered clubhouse. But everybody, I want to really thank you for coming out today. We want to thank our friend. Another round of applause for Will Witt, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're always welcome in our clubhouse. But
Thank you. For now.
Thank you so much. For now, exactly. Another big shout out, our friends from South Africa are here, Dr. Ernst and Mari Louise, who have been helping.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Just came back from some meetings from Washington, D.C. that you guys will be hearing about very soon. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. Is there anything I need to announce? All good? What?
Members.
Oh, yes. Who in this room is not a member? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh, what are you guys doing?
I brought him.
You brought him?
I brought him.
Oh, fantastic. If you would like to become a member, you could go to Brandon, where are you?
What's it?
You go to Brandon back there, or you can go to Liz Bayonne right over there. You can take your pick.
I'd love to get all the pictures
Become
together.
a member today.
Thank you.
How many people in here are new members? Raise your hand if you're a new member. Very nice. Round of applause for our new member. Yes, soon. We're going to get you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Grab a little bit of whiskey, have a good time, all right? Thank you.
We'll pass it on to you and all that.
Thank you.